If you stay on that level and you don't grow, this is where danger can happen. If you don't grow, you die.
Welcome to the Rich and Riz Experience, the Hustle and Muscle podcast. My name's Riz. Beside me is Rich. We're here to talk about all things business building, hustle, and all things muscle building, muscle. Rich, how was your week, mate? You're in sunny Gold Coast, I'm noticing. Blue skies, entrepreneurial dream.
The blue skies and the entrepreneurial dream. Yeah, this is the dream that you see. You know, you take the picture down on the beach on your laptop, living the life. We've all seen that, been there, done that. And there's some truth to it. I am in Gold Coast. I'm heading back to Sydney with the family and stopping here for a couple days at our apartment. And, you know, it's interesting. You know, I've got some appointments and things to do, but working at cafes or down at the beach, sometimes you just need the space to think. And sometimes that is in a makeshift room. Where you set up a table and you're good to go.
Absolutely, mate. I've just got a quick question though.
Shit, it's sunny out there.
I've got a if it's so easy, you know, to build these 7, 8 figure, 9 figure business, why not own a 9 figure business? Surely, Rich, surely if it was that easy, you know?
Mate, laptop lifestyle, Riz. Laptop lifestyle.
No hustle or finance. How good.
But yeah, it's you know what, guys, it's a different, you know, it depends what you want. And if you want a laptop lifestyle and living in Bali, or you know, you definitely can do that, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you want to build a business that's going to outlast your, you know, lifestyle when you're 20s or when you're 18 or when you're 19, you know? So I've, you know, I've seen all those different scenarios, and you can definitely, it's definitely a good way to do it. But at the end of the day,
I think we definitely like ripping the piss though as well out of the gurus that promote, you know.
Yeah, I mean, don't believe everything you see. I mean, I literally could go outside with my laptop and, you know, actually go to the top floor of the apartment and say, this is the life. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things, but in this show, you're not going to hear much about that because we all know that's BS.
Yep.
And we can all rent a Gold Coast apartment for maybe 2-3. I mean, you could probably get a penthouse for $200-300. You could probably get the Crown over there. Probably spend $800-900 and you get a great photo shoot, you know? So
absolutely, it's
not that hard if you want to perceive yourself that way, but I might talk a little bit more about my week in a bit. And
sure, of course.
And there was something that happened this week. And this is really relative for anybody who's trying to figure out the next step, the next play. Should I start group training? Should I open up a new studio? Should I get a studio? Should I, you know, get that car loan? How am I going to get the next trainer in? And so I think as we go through our stages of business, you get a point where it's like everything's cruising. It's cruising. And then all of a sudden something happens. Trainer goes, staff member leaves. You get a few cancellations. Yep, all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden things start to build in your mind. They go tick, tick, tick. They build. And you know that you have to make some changes. You know that something's coming. It might be that your classes aren't as full as they used to be, and you're thinking, okay, something's not right. You keep playing with it. Something's not right. Well, that's been me for probably, you know, I guess when you don't think about it, it can take a long time. But when you're very active on, hey, why aren't I growing? Why are my clients not turning up? Why is my show up rate low? Why can't I get the leads in? If you're really active on that, you'll find the solution faster than if you're not active on it, because it will just drag out. And I've been down the part B, Riz, where I wasn't really thinking about it, but you realize after a few years that something's not right. But when you are active on, you're looking at your numbers, you're looking at your retention, you're looking how many clients are coming, you're looking at that daily, guess what? You can find the next play faster. So what I do, and this is a bit of a hack for me, Riz, and since I have moved up to Sunshine Coast, listen, the fact of the matter is a little bit slower up this way compared to old Sydney town. And it's good to create. However, I do like to, you know, get a bit of hustle for a couple of days, Riz, as you know, go in somewhere, go to Melbourne, go to Sydney, meet up some clients, meet up some friends. And so the hack that I do is I like to go deep and and go deep for 24, 36, 48, couple days a week. And in that, that period, what I'm going in not to specifically solve my problems, but I'm going in to see and have conversations to figure out if something else gels or mixes that gets me unstuck and gets me out of my slump and gets me understanding where the next play is. Because as entrepreneurs, as business owners, if you don't have a franchise, you're probably doing a lot by yourself and you don't know, should I join that mentoring program? Should I join that coaching program? Should I do the Facebook ads? My Facebook ads aren't working. Everybody, it doesn't matter what level of business you're at. Every level, there's always a problem. If you don't have a problem, Riz, you don't have a business, right? So first of all, we need to expect problems. And we've encountered, I won't call it problems, but a few roadblocks and on a couple of things. And I thought I just needed to get out of my environment and change it. So I went to Sydney and I caught up with, probably four people that really inspire me. These guys are leaders in their field and what they do. And sometimes it's just, four people. One of them, Steve Jensen, had a coffee chat, a walk and a coffee chat, caught up with a friend over lunch, had a few laughs, a few jokes, talked a bit of business.
Nice.
I spoke at an event, Sam Cawthorn's event. It was a speakers boot camp. So teaching speakers how to market themselves. And, because that's not our industry, fitness, Riz, it is a lot of fun because it's just, something different, and you can really be impactful when you move to different industries and you hear different problems. And so, we've been on Zoom for quite a long time, and it's really nice change to recognize that, I could have done that presentation for an hour and a half on Zoom. However, going there, having dinner, speaking, hearing on a plane, you're seeing things, you're out of your environment. Guess what? I came back, Riz. I came back and I had the solution. I found the solution, not in the moments of, get my notepad out here. There was no notepad. It just literally when I was on the plane home, I read a document that someone gave me, one of my friends gave me in those 4 days. And it was like it all came together. And so I guess the summary here I want to talk about is that sometimes when we're in a flat zone, we're in a flat line, when we're flatlining and we keep flatlining, you've got to get out of your own way and go and hack the problem, go and engage with somebody that you like, somebody who you inspire to. It could be a friend, it could be a mentor, it could be a coach. It could just be going out and watching the movies. It could be going for a bike ride. But what you need to do is you need to go out for a period of time until you feel that you're in a different state. And when you're in a different state, you come back, boom. Now, in that state, I was there for 36 hours and I wasn't expecting anything. I wasn't expecting to solve my problem that I had at the moment. We all have problems all the time. I wasn't expecting anything. But because I didn't expect, I just was in the moment. What happens is that the state changes and then the way we look at the problem or the roadblock automatically changes. And then we get better motivation, we get better drive, we get enthusiasm, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 everything fits into place. I don't know if you've had those experiences, but I do that a lot to hack my problems. And so we are going through a crisis or a roadblock. A lot of the time it's because of us, because we don't have the information we need at hand.
Well, I mean, that's kind of been I can't say I've ever thought my way per se out of a problem. Obviously I have to some degree about certain things, but I'm an execution man. I solve problems by doing. For me, it's like the idea of like waiting for cogs to align in my head and go, aha, or something doesn't resonate with me per se, but I solve my problems by just doing shit and seeing if it works for me, because I feel like that's more of a custom tailored approach. Testing and trying every week, as opposed to, I don't know, I can't say I've ever felt the whole state thing of like unlocking that for me, but I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It's obviously very, very real for you. But for me, I feel like, yeah, my best work is always done in executing, mate, without a shadow of a doubt.
So that's interesting. Execution. So this is I think a great talent to have when you can execute fast. Either sticks on the wall or it doesn't. Pretty much. That's the flavor, right?
100%. Shit, do it. And you only don't try everything, obviously, but I think it was Jeff Jowett, our main man, always says, stack the decks in your favor, stack the deck in your favor. So it's like, okay, well, we're going to try to see what works this week. Okay. Does it work? No. Next week. Okay. Try again. Does that work? Yes. Keep doing that. Then does the next thing work? No. Next thing. No. Next thing. Yes. Stack that on top of the other thing that works, and so on and so forth. And then you just get momentum that way through building on things that work within the business and within your habits or within your lifestyle. And I feel like that for me is the best way that I can get momentum. It's just by doing and seeing what works, and then keeping the shit that works, getting rid of the stuff that doesn't.
So your philosophy is when you are going through, not sure which direction to pull, you're basically upping the workload in tasks that you do, Riz. Are you upping more than usual? Is that what I'm hearing?
100%. Definitely. And yes, to a point, it's a bit more tiring, maybe, as a business owner. It's probably like, but I feel like for me, there's just no other way I can do it that I like, that I'm comfortable with. I'd rather test and try. And if it works for me, it works for me. If it doesn't, it's out.
Love it, guys. So there's two strategies there. It's the hustle strategy, and then it's the well, it's a bit of the muscle strategy and hustle strategy, whichever way you look at it. My muscle strategy is literally just to get myself out and then come back with a hustle. And your strategy is the hustle, and then you can get the muscle going.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. See what works. Works, keep it. Doesn't, fuck it off.
Love it. Now, talking about that, right on the subject, it's a bit of an anniversary. I was just sort of saying I've been out of Sydney for nearly a year, but you've also had your studio. It must be coming up to 6 months, Riz.
It is, mate. It is. I'd say this month will be the 6 months. So
6 months, yeah.
Haven't gone broke yet, which is a plus. Have definitely earned more money this year, which is a plus. However, it's just kind of gone back into the studio, so I don't really know where the fuck it's gone.
Well, let's talk about that, Riz. I'd love to understand.
Yeah, sure.
And this is for anybody who's listening to this and going, okay, yep, I've got to make a decision. Am I going to go into the studio? Am I not? When do I pull the trigger? But I'd love to know you're in this fresh state, and I love talking to people when they're in their happening. So you're 6 months in. What did you learn? What do you know now that you didn't yet know before? And even you may have heard of that, but it's interesting when you hear and you actually physically have to go through it. What are some lessons that you've learned in the last 6 months that you didn't know before?
Sort of 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got them. So 1, it's fucking harder than I thought. Right.
What's harder, Riz? What's the harder part?
It's for me, I'm a close enough is good enough kind of guy. And sometimes that's not good. So it's getting organizing bins. And if the payment for that doesn't go through, then it's an overdue notice. And then there's electricity, and then you've got your own home electricity, and then you've got all that sort of stuff. So you've got essentially twice the needs of each property. And then you've got your own, whatever, marketing costs and hiring staff and all that sort of stuff. And you sort of forget that it's a lot harder than what you thought it would be, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's what I asked for, but far out, it's a lot more responsibility, that's for sure. But I knew that going into it. Second, I think people treat you more like a service than a person. So when I was a one-on-one PT in a gym, people felt probably a bit more on my level, whereas now I own a studio where people are a bit more like, I don't know. And look, I know myself. I know where I came from. I'm more of an average bloke than anybody else. I like to think, like I came from very, very trying beginnings, humble beginnings. I didn't own the studio because I got inherited any money whatsoever. But I think people treat you definitely like I'm rolling in cash or something, and I'm just, So it's a bit of a different approach, something that I've sort of had to wrestle with, but I've come to terms with. It's less stressful. Number 3, it's definitely less stressful. It's more work, but it's less stressful because you can do things your way. When you're a one-on-one, shoot.
Sorry, it's interesting. Number 2, people feel that they feel you're above them, Riz, or
look,
not?
I don't know. I can't speak for anybody else's thoughts and opinions of me because they haven't said that. However, it feels like maybe that, I don't know, let's say, fuck, you're at Kmart and you're putting clothes back on a rack and you fucking kind of get it wrong. And you've gone to the change rooms and you've not put it back on the hanger and you just kind of got to, But if it's a small mom and pop store, you're probably going to, and if you know staff from watching, you're probably going to put it back on the hangers and go, oh, this isn't for me. For me, that is. And so I feel like with the people that come to the business, I feel like they're a bit more like, it feels a bit more, I don't know. It's hard to articulate.
I hear what you're saying. It becomes a little bit different because they see you running a business and they've probably seen, hey, this is, I get where you're getting to from that. And what was number 3, Riz, again?
Number 3, it's less stressful, mate. Less stressful by a long stretch in terms of, look, you'd have to do a lot more heavy lifting, but you can do it your way. And as a business owner, someone that's a pure entrepreneur like myself, someone that just cares about building the businesses that I operate in and not working for anybody else, I'm not a good worker. That is the best part because I know what's happening. As long as I pay my rent, I'm Gucci. I'm good. There's not a problem.
Okay. So that's good. So that's perfect for anybody who's probably getting frustrated in a gym.
Yes.
Or they're working for somebody and they're going to say, I can do it better. And they're going home and they're getting frustrated with their boss. They're getting frustrated with the gym they're in, right? Mm-hmm. And now you've removed that, so you're more calm.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And look, number 4 thing that I've learned as well, my time's more valuable than I thought it was. My time is definitely more valuable than I thought it was. I used to do a lot of the heavy lifting by myself, and now I'm starting to realize like, oh, okay, it's really important to set up barriers between you and your clients as opposed to being the available trainer all the time. Things like that, where you have like, I have a studio phone and a personal phone now. Nobody knows my personal phone number, only like 10 people. And the studio phone, everybody has that number. But it's like, it's just those little things where you've just got to kind of separate. The next thing is separating my social media from people being able to, because it's just, I'm constantly replying to DMs and messages there.
Yeah.
But it's all that sort of stuff. It's like realizing, oh, fuck, actually, man, like you're someone that's put in a lot of effort into this business and your skill set, and you need to treat yourself like you are valuable, or not, I don't know, hour per hour, more valuable than you used to be at least. Not more valuable than anybody else, but you're more valuable than you need to be. So you need to treat yourself like that. Otherwise, you'll stay at the value that you were at before.
Love it. Yeah,
that makes sense.
In the value.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what you have to do as a human being and as a business owner. You have to be more valuable every single year. And if you're not, what are you fucking doing?
Very good insights. Was that 5?
It was 4. I forgot the 5th one.
All right, forget the 5th one. I'll let you off that one because you're the business owner, so you can change what you want to change.
That's right, whenever I want.
Totally. Well, they're interesting, and I think that, again, if you are sitting on the fence of going, that roadblock might be getting into a studio. I think that's a good some good thoughts there. Some good thoughts there.
Oh, last thing. Let's go number 5. Fuck it. Something that's very important is leveraging your position. What I mean by that is, so I moved into the studio. First 4 months, I set a goal to live there for a period of time to save money. Okay, so then my outgoings were X per week, less rent. Amazing. Then I have used that money to pour into ads. Good. Then I had enough money from there, from the ads, to then be able to move out, get a granny flat. Then from there, it's going to be leverage enough now to hire a new staff member, hopefully full-time or something, and then leverage that position and leverage that until I get a second studio. What you have to do is leverage, consolidate, leverage again, consolidate, and use those positions to constantly be leapfrogging as opposed to putting too much on your plate. Because if I hired someone to do ads, hired a new staff member, got a granny flat, did all these things, it's an extra $1,000 plus in outgoings a week. I don't think I would have lasted. Then I got to pay tax on that. That's like, it's crazy. So I think things like that is really important when you're starting small, to actually start small. Don't get too big for your boots. The time to be big for your boots will come. You can be the man or the woman in due time, but don't act like you're better than what you are right now.
I love that concept. And it's interesting, the consolidation. I like that a lot. And consolidation for me, and I think for anybody listening here, consolidation is like, you test out your theory, like what you talked about before, throwing things on the wall.
Yes.
Now, if you're in a rush, you're going to throw it on the wall very quickly. It's going to stick in 60 seconds or a day or not. But if you do have that thing that's stuck to the wall, and this is where I call it the consolidation period here, has it start working? Is it working? Is it not? Work it for a little bit. And then after you think it's it's working, there's a system around it. Then what you're saying is, yep, consolidate, boom, move to the next level. If you stay on that level and you don't grow, this is where danger can happen. If you don't grow, you die. You don't grow, you die.
100%, mate. Complacency is a killer.
It's always the concept, always be hiring. Always be hiring.
Always be hiring, always be closing.
Always be closing. Think about that when you're on a growth trajectory. Remember, if you know you kind of need a hire, it's going to take some months to get there. Also too, knowing that, your first hire won't work. So you might have to hire 2 at one and see who's going to be the best player, who's going to stick around. I've certainly been doing a lot of that at the moment. We're finding more sales teams, and I can tell you right now that you've got to test out 50% more, because people just won't last depending on the industries,
That's what I'm saying with the treating you like a service versus a thing, right? Like you're more of a entity than you are a human being. When you first started hiring, I'm sure you probably had like 1 or 2 and everyone sort of stuck. I'm going to assume perhaps, or clients even initially, probably had your initial clients. But then as you get bigger, you have people that just do they'll be right. And I think that's,
or they'll send, someone wants to cancel, they'll send the email through the main head office. Yeah,
exactly. That's
shit. Like, well, I've been 100%. Training you for 3 years. The main head office goes to me.
Yep.
So it's all those things. There is a barrier there. And that is a good and a bad thing.
Yeah,
good and a bad thing.
Yeah, that's good insight too. It's like, yes, it's good, but also it's bad, but whatever.
And there's the balance of that, and that's the secret sauce. So the balance is, you're doing it yourself, you're outsourcing it, there's automation, there's so many different things.
It's hard, man. I'm such an emotional dude. Like it's so shit. I get so butthurt by it, and it's like having to overcome that. I just get too attached, I'm like, how could they, man? It's like,
it hurts. It hurts a lot.
It's always going to be there for me.
In this industry, we care a lot. So we,
mate,
someone leaves us, we don't like it.
I was talking to one of my clients. She's a mortgage broker. She was saying some lady consolidates and reestablishes loans 6 to 8 million a month, every month for the year, right? They get like 0.5% or some shit on that, which is every million, they get $6,000.
Yep.
And they're doing that 6 to 8 times a month. Huh?
There you go.
Huh? One person. Huh?
There you go.
And I'm like, fucking Jesus Christ. What did you say the number was for the business?
Mate, show me the check. I'm moving over.
Hey? Yeah, please. When you sign a client in for like 6 months and it's $1,200 or $2,400, and you're like, gross. And someone like does one and it's $6,000, and it's like, yeah. You just go, fuck, man.
It's interesting. It's industries.
You love it though, right?
Yeah, it's industries, and you see a lot of people. They go into industry and they hate it. Money is not the only thing. But if it is your thing, and that is your only thing, you've got to find the industry that will give you the maximum return there, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
We've got to do what we love. Interesting conversations. And just on that, another concept here, and when you are in a learning growth in your business, and I think we always in a learning growth of our business, depending what stage it is, I reflect on kind of where I met people as well, and who's in my life at the moment. And I reflected the other day when I was in Sydney, and 4 out of the people that 4 out of my friends and colleagues, or call them friends, pretty much most everybody, I met them all through an event, through conferences. And I looked at it because I go, okay, that's interesting. So if you want a friend, you go to a conference, Riz. That's kind of like Tinder for finding a long-term friend. It was interesting because you think, it's all about proximity as well. And so as you progress in your life, you lose friends that are different circles, and you've got to kind of replenish people as well. And I just thought, okay, the people are closest around me, I met them all at events or conferences many years ago,
Yeah, man.
So I just thought, okay, it's interesting, who's in your corner and where'd you meet them from? And
yeah, it's very raw, very real. I think I met a friend of mine, Carlo, met him, and I think he did some work with you guys, but I met him at a seminar.
Yep.
You know, I met him at a seminar for a coach that we both really liked. And it was just like, hey, like, and he just kept following me. I followed him on Insta, and it became like that. And he'd come and see in the gym, or came and saw me at Body Fit a few times, and came to a seminar, and just all sorts of different stuff, you know. And it's fascinating how that works, because like it's a good strategy, but it's very like tiring to like meet that many people all the time.
Oh yeah, it's not a.
Whatever.
I don't think it's a. I don't think it's a strategy. No, you keep doing that. And it's not. I don't think it works like that. But there's some truth to it. Is that
for sure.
You know, the 5 or 6 people around you, the closest. You don't have a huge network, but they've got to be the right people that are kind of driving you down in the helping you in the bad times.
Yeah, man.
And rewarding you and happy for you in the good times.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's a massive key for success. That's a mentor, coach, colleague, friend, but they've got to be on the same trajectory. Otherwise, there's a bit of issues there. So that's kind of what's going on this week, and just powering through. So it sounds like we're both in a bit of a work zone at the moment, Riz. A bit of a work zone, pushing through.
Bit of a hustle, man. I feel like it's interesting. I feel like by the end of the year, I'll have some really solid results to pat myself on the back. I think I'm very much in like it's a growth phase, because I'm always growing every year, regardless of whether or not I want to admit it to myself in the moment. But I feel like I'm in more of a consolidation and work sort of phase. Definitely a hustle and consolidation phase.
Yeah, I call the work stage is when you're doing things that you haven't yet done before. Like you're obviously finding a new trainer, and so that's something you haven't done before.
Yeah.
When you're trying to grow your numbers from, let's say, 50 to 60, you haven't done that before. That's a work thing. That's a work. It requires work to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're in a kind of a chilled out stage, you can then, I can go down to the beach down here in Gold Coast and live in the dream at midday or 9 o'clock in the morning. Do you know what I mean? But when you're not, sometimes it's easier just to say, listen, I'm in a growth stage and I'm in a work zone right now, and so it's easier and less stressful for me just to plug in, do the work, and get out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So don't think you have to be, I'm here or I'm there. Like I'm in Gold Coast and I'm plugged in, and I'm going to be plugged in for a few hours. I'm going to take a little bit of time off early in the afternoon, hang out with the fam. But at the end of the day, you've got to do what you need to do to continue growth in your business. And I know that I've taken some time off a few weeks ago, and I've been a bit of a zone there. But now I'm in a growth stage. So it doesn't matter where I'm at, what I'm doing. It's growing day. It's growing day. It's growing day.
Mate, something that I noticed, and it's always been in my mind since I dropped down, my finances dropped quite a lot last year. I was never really in the red zone, but once I sort of rode the high that I had in that November, December period, once I was there, man, it was an awful period being in a low, and I was like, I never want to be there again, and ever. Like that was just the worst feeling for me, because I'd worked so hard, and then to bottom out, I was like, just made me sick to my stomach. So for me, I've just been so on top of the gaining clients game. It has just been crazy. Like it's just been something I've not taken, my axe away from the grindstone. I've just been at it and just trying to perfect the lead generation strategies and trying to just relentlessly layer stuff on. So by the time people come into my business, it's a powerhouse. It's so much more different to, there's automations and everything set in, so it's nice and professional when you start up. But it takes relentless chasing. There's no easy days.
And you gotta hurt. I feel everybody's got to hurt a little bit so they can move ahead. You hurt, you lose a client, someone drops, that hurts you.
Even one client, one client for me hurts, not emotionally anymore, but it hurts in a different sense for me. When I lose one, I go, like not in a I should have been better, because look, everybody has reasons for personal training. There's so many reasons why people don't stick around, and not everybody is starting their PT journey so they could do long-term health and fitness. Some people only want to do it for 3-6 months, and that's literally them. But it's like it hurts in that, like if that's putting me in the negative, then I get fucking mad, man. I get so upset. I'm like, come on, turn those ads back on, crank them to $100 a day. Let's go. We're getting back 10 times, you know?
And that is what you need in the growth stage. You need something that's going to light you up and move you forward, because nobody else is going to do it if you don't do it.
Nah, man, I think that's where it helps, like you said, right? Knowing your numbers, knowing those things. I think I've asked a lot of because Richard has this amazing program called the PT Growth Accelerator, right? I ran part of it. Now there's other people, and I'm a coach on there now for those guys. Something that I notice, and Richard drew this into me earlier, and yes, this is a nice plug. Something I noticed is that those guys don't know their numbers. Even, and it's like, this is so important. And mind you, they haven't come through the whole program, so they've not been mentored yet in that aspect. But in our initial strategy session that we do, they don't know their numbers. I'm like, well, what's your attrition rate? How many leads do you get a month? Da, 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 da. And it's like, well, how the fuck are you going to know what works or what doesn't work, or your numbers or whatever? And how are you going to get fired up if you don't even know you're botting me out? You don't even know you're losing. How are you meant to know that? How are you meant to know when to really give it some gas? So yeah, you're so right.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, if you don't know you're losing, you're going to crash somewhere because you're overspending or you run out of a client. And that's not what you want to be. So it is important. I think it's great for personal drive, knowing your numbers. And you know what the best is for personal driver is? When you don't like the numbers or you feel embarrassed of the numbers.
Oh man, I'm filthy at my numbers even now. I'm like, oh man. I was at my best quarter. I think it was from like October quarter 2021, best quarter. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I'm filthy at this quarter.
Yeah.
Filthy.
Yeah. Team, if you want to grow, you need to grow. You need to get something that motivates you and drives you and pushes you and gets you up every morning. And that can change, and that's okay to change. It could be someone said something to you, somebody left, could be a competitor. It could be, just a remark someone said. I certainly get fired up that way. It only has to be a remark of somebody near me or close to me. It's like, oh, okay. All right, let's go.
One of my clients, he's from the Middle East, so I don't know if he culturally, but he's very fucking blunt. Lovely guy, like absolute sweetheart. He goes, Riz. I'm like, yeah, bro. And mind you, I've been cutting weight, so I've been losing weight. And he goes, you look like you gained a little bit of weight. And I was like, fucking what? I was like, yeah, mate, in my head. But I was like, fucking nothing made me want to go and lift weights heavier than that right now. That might speak to my ego, but I think it's just very much, it's very human, mate. You want to, fuck this. I'm going to go starve myself or something ridiculous, but it makes you very competitive. You're right. Simple remark like that can set you off.
Yeah. Simple remark. So know that too, team, and it helps me to know that too. When I have certain people that trigger me, like, okay, cool. No dramas. Let's work that. You know what I mean? So you can't go down that rabbit hole for too long, though.
No, I know we've got our people that trigger us too. There's a fair few out there in this health and fitness space that always fire us up.
Totally. So team, need to know that. Well, this has been a good one for today, guys. I hope you got a lot out of it, and if you did get a lot out of it, tell your friend to jump aboard the Hustle and Muscle. We do it every Friday.
Absolutely.
And you can hear it every Friday, unless Riz is, milking cows out in the country. Or
I think I really like these conversations. I think even if I'm milking cows, man, you might hear from me. So I might do a rich Gold Coast special, mate, and get the webcam going in Milton. So
sounds good. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed this show. It's the Hustle and Muscle Show. You can find us on the Marketing Muscle Up podcast show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave us a review. You can do so on Apple. You can do so on Apple. You'll be on your laptop. They make it hard, but you'll be on your laptop. Love that.
But look, guys, it takes no time at all to review or post or share it, but it helps us out a hell of a lot more than you think. People pay attention quite a lot. And if you think this is valuable conversations for people that someone needs to hear, please share it along because we want to reach as many people as we can, and we're not even charging for it. So it'd be really good if we could keep this thing going because we just love seeing more involvement.
Love it.
Perfect.
All right, Riz, until next week, I'll catch you then.
Beautiful, brother. Love talking to you.
See you guys.
See you soon. See you guys.
Enjoy your week. Bye for now.